Anthropic's landmark $1.5 billion copyright infringement settlement approved by a federal judge pays authors and publishers for illegally sourced books but leaves unresolved key legal questions about AI training practices. Coming up, Anthropic's landmark copyright segment and also a shock resignation at the heart of US AI policy, raising fresh questions about the future of artificial intelligence. To break it all down, we're joined by Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Great to see you and welcome back to Australia. Talk to about who truly benefits from this settlement. What's it about?
This is it's a landmark settlement, which I haven't seen any of the AI platforms go through this yet, so it could be a precedent for things to come. But yes, Anthropic has been fined and they must pay back authors for whom they have illegally sourced their books and trained their models on. And so this means that each work will receive $3,000 and it's going to equate to 500,000 works. So you do the math on that. It's quite a significant amount of money that they do have to pay back. And it seems that while the court is looking at sort of that fair use, because a lot of the platforms are using that as their argument as to why they're training their models, saying basically they're sourcing documents and copyrighted information, but because with generative AI tools, they're actually creating something else from that. They're not really regenerating it word for word. So there's that sort of fair use argument. However, the court said that while Anthropic had paid to source some of these materials legally, they also used pirated sites to get them as well. And so that's the method that they had issue with.
So what's the precedent here? What does this mean for future AI?
It means that I think the platforms, most of the platforms have been trained on copyrighted materials that have been sourced illegally. And so I think if this actually happens, then authors will have a case and creators to take the other platforms to court as well and hopefully get some compensation for the use of their works. I'm not sure how they've been able to really find out the actual sources on which they've been trained. So clearly they have, but this might pave the way for other creators and authors to do the same and get that compensation.
Does this help to make authors feel more secure, and how can they ever feel secure again when it comes to AI?
I don't know if they can. And I think the other thing too is not only the models using their works without their permission, but there've been cases, and we've discussed this before, it's all over Amazon, where some bad actors have grabbed the works of authors and then trained AI to generate new works in their name and are actually posing as them to earn money with these newly regenerated works. And so this isn't just a problem for the platforms, it's also a problem for the individual users of AI tools as well.
Are copyright laws outdated now?
Well, yeah, I think so. Even in Australia, I think last week with the Prime Minister's address on AI, he said that he will be protecting authors and creators in terms of copyright, but there hasn't been any detail as to how that would actually happen. And so, yes, I think until we see the detail on these changes to copyright laws, I think absolutely they are out of date.
And what are the kind of risks that companies face next, and what are your overall thoughts about, I guess, the Australian government, the Prime Minister's announcement last week?
Look, I think it's a real catch-22, isn't it? As an author, as a creator, as an artist, you're expressing yourself and with your creativity and putting out these different outputs into the world. But then when you do that, you also risk AI tools grabbing them and being trained on them, other people using them in ways that are not legal. And so it's like, what do? Keep expressing yourself through your own creativity, or are you just scared and just keep it to yourself? So yeah, I don't know how they're going to manage that. And I think the Prime Minister's address last week, it was encouraging, but again, there was a lot of sort of talk and not a lot of detail.
Yeah, look, it's a really fascinating debate, and it's been interesting also watching the Reuters boss coming out this week, speaking at the Andrew Olley media lecture at the ABC, saying our content is being stripped and used. When I started working in radio at a major radio station, our version of putting the news together was opening up the Herald Sun every morning, finding the articles and then rewriting the articles. I can't actually see the difference between what I did 25 years ago as standard industry practice and AI or someone essentially crawling through Reuters or another news organization and rewriting the content. It's always been done, just in different ways. Is this really becoming an issue because news organisations' advertising has fallen apart and therefore they're scrambling to find new revenue and they're pointing the finger at AI that have these massive valuations and thinking we'll be able to get some money out of these boys?
Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, I'm sure they're trying to get money out of wherever they can. But I think the difference there is that at least there was a human behind what was happening. And you want to hope that there is a human looking at these items before they go out again when they're regenerated. And I mean, I read an article this week that the ABC is using radio transcripts to now generate articles. And so even that as well, you'd hope that there was someone there doing that quality check, because even though AI is really great at reworking and summarizing and things like that, it can still add things in and it can still get things wrong.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that, particularly, in any information, so you're not adding to that misinformation that's out there, but particularly with news and things like that, that's a huge risk, just letting AI do that.
Oh, look, I've seen it myself. I've fallen victim to it myself. You do need a set of eyes, but look, there are sub-editors that have existed for a reason. Even when journalists write things, my spelling has always been terrible, as my first editor once told me. All right, let's move on. Chris Fall has resigned as Director of the Centre for AI Standards and Innovation just 3 months into his role, raising concerns about leadership stability in the Trump administration's AI policy amidst competition from Chinese technology. So talk to us about the risks that this creates for AI policy.
Well, I mean, the thing is with AI safety, it's this constant conflict between the speed of evolution. So clearly the US is in competition with China. And so there's that pressure to keep going forth. But then there's also the pressure to make sure that it's safe and ethical as well. And so it would be a very difficult position to be in to head up an organisation like that, because the pressure would be on to release any sort of thoughts around safety, but then that's the whole point of the organisation. So yeah, I can understand why no one would really want that position, because it would be very challenging, and with things constantly changing, how would you be able to keep up and do it well?
The US is also under constant threat of losing ground to China as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, constantly. And you can tell that is their main competitor in this space for sure.
What are the implications when it comes to innovation here? Because to not have someone in place at the moment in such a senior, important role could mean that essentially these tech companies go unchecked, that the questions that we're asking in countries like Australia about balancing the question mark over jobs with the question mark over development and innovation, as well as the fact that anyone that puts AI in their word generally flies up the NASDAQ in terms of valuation as well. It's a pretty important role, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, though, it makes you wonder just how effective the role is, though. It's been people in that position, but not for very long. So what actual impact are they making in that role? What are they actually doing? Or is it more just like a placeholder to be there to make it look like people are actually doing something in this space? So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens, who will head it up next, and what exactly they're going to do. Because as you say, the AI platforms, particularly in the US, what rules do they even have at the moment around what they can and can't do? I mean, I know Anthropic has been pulled into line, but it doesn't seem like any of the other tools are. So, and we know where that sort of stems from as well.
All right, we've got to leave it there. Dr. Karen Sutherland, thanks so much for joining us on Ticker. We'll talk to you soon.